People's Talk Show is starting now, and it's time for business. Let's talk about today's news and give me a call.
All righty. We are live for midweek, the People's Talk Show. Looking forward to connecting and finding out what's on your radar. What have you guys been keeping an eye on? And give you guys a chance to get some stuff off your chest a little bit. And so, it's it's so much stuff happening right now that it's becoming somewhat hard to keep track of it all. But then again, hey, here we are. Couple of days left in 2023, and man, what a lot of fireworks that's going off right now on a variety of fronts. So I have maybe 15, 20 different tabs open, all related to things that caught my attention. And so I want to share my 2 cents on it, and of course get yours. So hope everyone is doing well. This definitely should be a very lively live stream, to say the least. And so hopefully everything goes well. Let me make sure I'm flowing correctly on all channels and all outlets, so we can actually get this party started. So as of now, I am flowing correctly. So hopefully you guys can hear me. And man, just so much stuff going on. It is ridiculous. But this is the world we live in, man. But anyway, it's going to be a good day, man. So hope everyone's doing well. Welcome to the live stream. My name is Mike, the host of Detroit's #1 late night YouTube talk show. As always, looking forward to connecting and to find out what's going on. And so as we give it a second before I get into some of the deep dive as to what's happening, I want to give people a chance to hopefully be notified. And for my people who's here now, hit that thumbs up button, show some support for the channel, show a little love for the channel. Hopefully that helps the algorithms, as I always say, because it's unfortunate to be wanting to connect with a lot of people who click on the subscribe button and bell notification, but not everybody gets notified. So hopefully they clean that up. But then again, that's why I'm on Rumble as well. So as I mentioned before, as times get tougher, censorship will increase, which I can expect more of that. But let me acknowledge a couple people, and of course, bless you for being a part of the community. We got Miss Love checking in, says, "Hey family." We got Ron Hubbard checking in, says, "RT Live Talk, Detroit's #1 late night YouTube talk show." Appreciate you, man. We got B Rad checking in, says, "Get your weight up." Daryl says, "Yo, what's up, my friend?" We got Fishbowl, we got Ed in the building. All right, so a fair amount of people here, and as always, man, like I noticed that. I think it was maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I had a lot more members of the community tuning in for whatever reason. Some come, some go. Okay, fine. But there's a large number of individuals that choose to remain anonymous and sit in the back and just not really participate and not let themselves be known. And so feel free at any time, man. Like it is a People's Talk Show, and I want to make sure I get as many people as possible participating, just because that's what makes a great talk show, being able to talk to a variety of people, because everybody here has an interesting or unique opinion on what's going on. And why keep it to yourself? This is a show where I want to definitely connect with you guys. So when the phone lines open up, please give me a call. Make it quick, short, sweet, to the point, or comment in the chat. Get involved in the community, and be a blessing to other people via communication wise, or help encourage people or help educate people. That's what it's all about. So all right. Okay. Let's get in, man. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, at least 15 tabs, man. It's crazy, and I'm not gonna get to them all because I would definitely be too long. But let me just dive right in, man, and get to the nitty gritty of what's going on here. As always, start the same way. You guys know how I do it. I want to continue to give Four Patriots a big up, just for being a blessing to the channel, supporting the channel, as well as giving community a chance to continue to participate and get their weight up and preparations and everything in between. So as you guys can see here, this is the emergency preparedness page. Go to 4patriots.com/RTD. Links in the description, and take advantage of all these opportunities to get a assortment of preparedness items. You got everything from the all-in-one emergency kit. You got the Tactics solar flashlights here. You got 72-hour supply of food. You got the whole egg situation here. You got the power cell. You got much larger bundles of food as well. You got your start fire camp stove, and you got everything else, man. Water cookers. So anyway, just want to make sure I continue to remind you guys, take advantage of this. It's a good opportunity for those who are interested. And of course, they got their solar generators as well, to make sure I continue to plug that up as well. give you a chance to get all the things you need just in case. And the way things are speeding up, it looks like it's going to be just in case a lot sooner than not. So, all right. So I kind of was trying to figure out, okay, how do I start the show? There's so much going on. So I'm going to go through everything, in no particular order. So yeah, okay. I don't know how to start. I don't even know how to start this one, man. Let's just start off. Okay, so I'll start off with what's trending right now. I'm a day late on a lot of crucial issues, but I'm gonna just start with what's trending right now over on the Twitter sphere, and just jump right into it, man. So here we have an interesting last minute S&P 500 sell off that spooked a lot of people. A lot of people spooked. And so I was, just basically going through some of the trending feeds, and people are literally flabbergasted as to how, why, what. And of course, some people are sensing that this is a early indication of the Federal Reserve pivoting sooner than later. And so I think it's Garrett Salloway, TA person that I follow. I'm sure you guys might be familiar with him, but he was saying it's very typical for there to be a sell-off leading up to and shortly thereafter the Fed pivots. And so this could be a tremor or a potential warning of what's coming in the days ahead. But just think about this real quick. It says between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. today, the S&P erased. And so once again, nothing just happens to appear and disappear. It's all transferred. So for the same amount of funds that were put in there, when it's transferred out, it's usually end up in the hands of those who were anticipating this type of sell-off and benefited from it, i.e. those who short the markets. But it says 600 billion of market cap just went whoop, right into somebody else's hands. It says, to put this in perspective, the S&P 500 added 600 billion of market cap over the last week. So it took a week. It took a week to add it to the S&P, and it took 2 hours to lose it. So think about when something really, really, really happens, how fast it's going to drop a lot further than that. So this little quick sell-off here was a total of 1%. So imagine if you get a 10, 15, 20, 30, the way, the Harry Dents of the world are talking about coming. Then you got, what's his name? David Hunter, if I'm not mistaken, another, macro guy talking about 70, 80% sell-off. So it's like, wow. It says the index was up for 10 straight days, but he erased 5 of those day gains in just 2 hours. The volatility index spiked 10% in a matter of minutes. This begs the same question we asked earlier this week. Is anyone comfortably buying right now? So now that is a big, multi-trillion-dollar question. Who actually is participating in this fraudulent market activity? And to go even further, next little article here. Oops, wrong one. So this was a video that was being shared by the mainstream media. And one thing that stood out to me, if I can zoom in here real quick, I'll show you this, just this graph here that this young lady is referring to, and basically saying that it shouldn't be. They're trying to actually provide a little calm to the market participants, saying that it shouldn't be too unexpected, just because, hey, it says the S&P is currently overbought, similar to the way it was back during, immediately following the lockdown shutdown situation in 2020. And so here you see a graphic here of the young lady basically pointing to how the current environment we're in now equates to what it would look like back in 2020, the moment the markets tanked and then shot back up. So she is saying we're overbought. It was bound to happen, a slight cool off. And I'm thinking like, okay, so you had the 2020 rally, which was definitely QE / a stimulus package or two boosted. What has been the cause of this last rally within the last 10 or so days of 600 billion, other than just more fraudulent activity and fictitious numbers? Like, none of this is healthy in and of itself. So it shouldn't surprise anybody if this stuff happens in more, how would I say it, more frequently in the days ahead, especially heading into 2024. So I guess this is a way of just basically saying that it's not a real market. It's artificial. So anyway, stock market trending right now. We'll see where it takes us tomorrow and everywhere else. So I'm sure a lot of people are concerned, but then again, once again, the average Joe is not even participating in this just because most people have been drawn down on their retirement portfolios for quite some time now. So they don't have much skin in the game. So anyway, keep it moving. Here's another interesting little headline here. Let me actually zoom. Let me get this in better focus here if I can. Let me zoom out some. So this is just something that caught my attention because it talks about the lack of confidence and trust in U.S. liabilities, as I call them. It says, are foreign holders finally bailing out of the incredibly ballooning U.S. debt market? And I'll just spare you guys a headache here, but just as from Wolf Street, Wolf Richter, and it basically talks about the U.S. national debt is 33.9 and going to continue to climb until it doesn't. And on the other end of that, who's actually buying all this stuff is the main question. So here's an interesting graph here that shows that at this current moment, U.S. securities in billions of dollars or trillions rather held by, as you guys can see here, we got China, Hong Kong, Japan, three of nations that have been heavy contributors to basically being our creditors. And as you can see at the very bottom here, they have been dialing back. They're all, for the most part, apart from Japan, are trending at around $1 trillion. And of course, China is beneath $1 trillion. And so we have the top 6 financial centers in the light blue here. They're the heavy buyers of this stuff, as well as all other countries. So it's basically showing that overall, the percentage of U.S. Treasury securities held by foreign holders, i.e. the big players, has been trending down now for some time now. So ultimately speaking, the people who are holding the bag happen to be U.S. citizens inside of their pensions and all the hedge funds and all the institutions that are required by law to be the backstop for all of these liabilities here. So the foreigners are getting out of Dodge on average. The big players are getting out of Dodge while they're forcing all the U.S. citizens in their retirement accounts to be the big bag holders of these liabilities. And we haven't seen the worst of it yet. So it's a lot more to come. Okay, so that was just a little tidbit here on who's actually buying the treasuries. And it happens to be U.S. citizens for the most part, institutions. Okay, let's get to the Red Sea. And so the video I did earlier was somewhat, a couple hours outdated because at the time it said about 57 or so vessels. And so since that report, there's been a total of 100 plus vessels that have did a little bit of a U-turn. And so it looks like, I think when we talked about it on Monday, how I was questioning the U.S. response or lack thereof. And with all the military might that we had around the world, how could such a thing come about inside of the Red Sea / that region if we already had a military presence there? So obviously we've been hollowed out and our military, i.e. our naval vessels, have not been present there the way that we thought. And so they've been scattered other places. So now it's left a void of military security in that region, or was this all intentional? And so here there's a plan put in place to see if they can send some things that way. Not sure if it's going to work or if it even matters, just because at this current moment, this is all being done deliberately, in my opinion. But it says U.S. Red Sea Task Force gets limited. U.S. Red Sea Task Force. This is what the U.S. Secretary of Defense decided to come up with as of yesterday. And this is as of date. It says it gets limited backing from some allies. So once again, all the nations that have been in lock and step with the U.S. and all their agendas up until the last year or so, they seem to be backing away a little bit. So we may not have the same support, especially in the Middle East region, because they've already pivoted east. But then again, with other G7 nations, because I would say the UK doesn't have much of a military, Australia doesn't have much of a military or naval, in that opinion. What else? All the other countries not really all that strong naval vessels. And so once again, it all depends upon the U.S. And so we are not getting as much support. So it lets me know that there might be a pivot from other nations in supporting this if this is a genuine movement. But real quick, it says several U.S. allies have said they support efforts to protect shipping in the Red Sea after attacks from Yemen-backed Houthi group. But some have said that they would not join a naval coalition that Washington said it was building for the task. So it just makes you question, why would the biggest, strongest, baddest naval force in the U.S. be needing all these allies and stuff like that? So either we're not that strong or it's just something that's different. It says the response has added to confusion for shipping companies, some of which have been rerouting vessels after all, whatever. So it says, what has the United States announced? Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin announced yesterday plans to set up a multinational coalition to safeguard Red Sea shipping. And so that included operations will be joined by Britain, Iran, Canada, France, Italy, the Netherlands, North Space, and whatever. So as we can see, it may not work out that way. So yeah, not surprising. But here's some interesting developments if this is true. This is from Twitter sphere, so make of it what you may. But it says here, let me zoom out some so I can get it myself in the picture. It says, let me get this going. It says Yemen grants free passage only to tankers carrying Russian oil via the Red Sea to Suez Canal. It says Western ships can either sail 15,000 miles around Africa, go via Russia's northern Arctic route, or rail via Russia. Putin wins again. So if this is true, it looks like Yemen and all the other Middle Eastern countries that are highly aligned with Russia have just literally sealed the fate of the Western forces in reference to who they side with. And so Yemen is letting Russian troops or the Russian vessels through, lets us know that this is a much bigger story than we'll ever hear about on this side of the world. But clearly the East have chosen a side, and it's definitely not the West. So the Middle East and the Eastern Hemisphere, the global South, they've already changed their plans and future involvements with the West. And this is a slap across the Western players' faces, in my opinion. So we'll see. Okay, so here's just another little something else. Most large shipping containers abandon Red Sea. I already mentioned that. So, and it's just a little map here showing how all the activities basically having to pivot. So definitely this is going to impact us come, remainder of fall, remainder of winter and spring. So this is not going to be a one and done story. See, Red Sea crisis disrupts IKEA, Abercrombie & Fitch shipments, yada, yada, yada. Okay, cool. So let's move on to something else. This is something that caught my attention. This was, when was this? This was on Tuesday. So this was yesterday. I posted this in a Telegram with a little comment saying that when I saw this, it definitely was not necessarily all that exciting, just because it says Trump wipes out Biden's lead with Latino voters in 2024. And when I saw this, I'm like, damn. I'm like, this is just more of another issue that will be used against him as well as the whole presidential process in general. Because if the Democrats have absolutely no support, no genuine fan base, apart from the foreign invasion, the immigrants that are coming in right now, they're the primary backers of the Biden regime because they've been given debit cards and cell phones, according to a lot of sources on the internet. That's the only support base he has, because majority of the Biden camp, whatever was left, they're not really feeling him like that. So that puts the rest of our country in a very bad position, because that means they've already been playing extremely dirty. Imagine how dirty they're going to get when this type of stuff continues to spread. So it just makes me believe and feel like the likelihood of us actually having a presidential election at the end of next year is not too likely. And then if that wasn't enough, later that day, we have the removal of Trump from the ballot. So I'm curious to get you guys' thoughts on that. And so this is from Tucker Carlson, says, removing Trump from the ballot without due process looks like the actual end of democracy. So that's another sign as to where, like, gangsters don't play fair, man. And if people were looking for a fair and inclusive and all that other stuff type of judicial process as well as elections, come on now, those days are done. Like, yeah, should no one be surprised at this current moment as to the direction things are heading. Okay, let me make sure I'm not just rambling to myself. What else we got here? So this was very interesting. No, let me go back here. This was very interesting here. It's hard to read this because I'm not really a fan of this guy. I think he's a puppet. I think he's literally a wolf in sheep's clothing, but he just sounds real good. And he's he's a Trump 2.0 type of figure. Say what you want to hear. delivers it with great. Delivers. He's a great orator. Like, he's a great communicator. Questionable business pass. I heard a lot of people talk about how he pumped a pharmaceutical company and then dumped last minute to get his riches. And of course, I think he's in bed with the globalists overall. I don't think there's not one political candidate, in my opinion, that's in a position to actually run that doesn't have some skeletons in their closet that can be used against them at any moment. And that includes Trump, definitely the Biden crime family, and this guy here, sounding good, looking good, but it's like, whenever they sound good, look good, that lets you know that something is behind it, in my opinion. It's unfortunate, man, because I would like to be able to say at least there got to be somebody out here. But he talks a good game. He seems as if like he's going to, if he gets further along in the presidential process, a disruptor. But at this current moment, what good is disrupting when like so much damage has been done? Our country, the world is so, it's just so, unsavable. So anyway, but this guy here, he comes out here and threatens to withdraw from the GOP debate or whatever in Colorado, if I'm not mistaken. And it says, I pledge to withdraw from the Colorado GOP primary ballot until Trump is also allowed to be on the ballot. I demand that Ron DeSantis, Chris Christie, and Nikki Haley. Ron DeSantis, Chris Christie, Nikki Haley. I'm not a fan of none of these people, man. And this is unfortunate. This is all they give us. But anyway, big move on his part. Definitely, he's a leader when it comes to being quick on his toes and being able to react and respond. So curious to get your guys' thoughts on that. So we're gonna have a lot to talk about here. And then one of the biggest things I've been following as of late is the foreign invasion. We're being invaded, and it's been going on for last 3+ years for sure. But man, there's more than enough video footage basically showing how bad things really are, where you got all the airlines flying in, people from all around the world, not necessarily from Mexico. We got a large African population. We got Middle East coming in here, and they all military fighting age. They getting cell phones and a debit card. That's us payroll and a communication device. What do you think? Who's on the other end gonna give those barking orders? It's unfortunate. It's our own damn government. They know things is going down. They know stuff is getting bad. They need their own proxy / puppeteers to basically do their dirty work. And of course, they're gonna blame it on Russia probably. But anyway, so just more video footage. So this is interesting. This is just a little thing I saw my attention. It says invasion. Now that Colombia is allowing visa-free travel from Iran, Yemen, and African nations, 41 total, they will become the pipeline for the illegal immigration into the U.S. The invasion is about to get very dangerous. And so we've witnessed. So here's a little, I can't read it in Spanish, but let me see here. So there's a little headline here. And so there's been a lot of people. And once again, this comes from Twitter. Twitter's becoming more of the primary news source for a lot of people, and therefore take it with a grain of salt. But given all the stuff happening right now, I'd rather go with this than go with the channels 247 saying that, the economy is going great. Oh yeah, the stock market dip today was just a buying opportunity. Anyway, so it goes on and on and on. Okay, so what else is next? Just more. Here's another one. This is another little tweet here. I don't know much about it, but it's just, hey, it's at this point it's all entertaining, man. It says happening now. The Biden administration has ordered banks not to deny loan applications for illegals based on citizenship status. It says the administration has warned that denying these loans will be discrimination. So discriminating against people who are here illegally can be a crime. It says we're now at the point where our government is doing more for citizens of another country than they are doing for Americans. No doubt, as this continues, it will eventually cost Americans more. Why are we always last? Referring to those who were born here naturally. Okay. Okay, so here, so the rest of them here. So here's another video here of just like what's happening at that border. And I've never been down to that border. I've driven through it a couple times, but never like actually paid attention. But look at these people coming in, man. Like, we don't know who we see. This guy here, he's definitely my complexion. So he's He could be Central American, but my guess would be he's probably one of those people from an African nation. So you got thousands and thousands of people coming into this country, and they're all coming here for mine, American dream. Like they're coming here for a dream. They were promised that if they come, they're going to be taken care of. They're going to be shipped, flew everywhere, housing. And I even shared an article earlier talking about how at this current moment, let me see if I can find it. Let me see here. It's very sad statistics. What is it? Where can I find it? It's basically said that at this current rate, foreign illegal immigrants rather, have been receiving more of our U.S. based assistance and aid at a much higher rate than those who are born here. So they're saying like, excuse me, it's some very alarming numbers, basically saying that the people who have been allowed to come here illegally, they have been receiving the most benefits in the form of Medicaid, SNAP program, all the other ones out there that I don't even know about. They've been getting the bulk of it and a lot more than the people who are actually from here and dependent upon it and actually need it, perhaps. So it was just some very shocking stuff. But okay, so that's another thing. What else I got here? Okay, here's just another little video, another little image here that caught my attention of just same image, different shot, but just showing the amount of people coming in. And I'm thinking like, man, with all these people coming here, the uber wealthy are building bunkers at an alarming rate because they're going down underground. And some of them have already bought compounds in other countries. But imagine if things get to the point where it's just like uncontrollable by law enforcement of any kind above surface. Zuckerberg's, Bezos, Elon's, they going underground. They gonna ride it out for about a year or two, type of thing. That's just it's not funny, but it is. Okay, so on to some good news. And I consider this good news out of everything else. The Bank of Tanzania. The government, through the Bank of Tanzania, domestic gold purchasing program is expected to purchase 12 tons of gold from domestic miners and business persons in their financial year in a bold move aimed at boosting foreign exchange reserves. And so when this is good news, I'm not sure for who, but it's good news. I don't know if it's not good news, but it's just, more to the point of all the stuff I talked about earlier as to, who's being left holding the bag with buying U.S. liabilities, and it's U.S. citizens, U.S. institutions. And then you got all the other foreign countries being forced to basically add to their reserves, their foreign exchange reserves with gold. So they're literally putting gold back into its rightful position of, tier one capital that they can use either to sell for dollars, sell for their own currency, or keep for their rainy day fund. So point in case is, if the central banks that create the funny paper that's starting to fail is running the gold for their reserves, it's good to say, don't just see what they talk about, but do what they do. Make sure your reserves is in something that can act as a hedge against the financial calamity that's underway right now. So, okay, that's just a little bit of I don't know. That's not necessarily good news, but okay. 36 million customers affected in massive Comcast data breach. This is as of today, so I'll leave it there. What else we got here? What else we got? I don't know. Oh, this is something interesting. California, for my people in Cali. Drought-prone California okays new rules for turning wastewater directly into drinking water. So it's good to say they probably were already doing it, but now they've officially made it public. But it's one of them things where that's I guess is a benefit to have. But then again, it's like, if they can, they already, killing us with fluorine in the water, fluorine, yeah. So anyway, this is just interesting, but whatever. Next one here. I thought this was funny. So Bitwise, this is the second day now of the crypto companies coming out with their ETF commercials. And so this is my man here, the most interesting man in the world. A little older now, but he's still interesting. And so this one is a commercial where he gives He says, he says, I just want to tell you that Satoshi tells me to tell you guys hire some crap like that. So it's funny. He says, thought I would let you know that Satoshi sends his regards. It is just funny because the ETF craze right now, man, I'm following that stuff and people are beyond ecstatic. And I'm thinking like, I've never been more questioned in my life. And then lastly here, Epstein. Federal judge orders 150 associates of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell to be made public. And I'm thinking like, man, like at the beginning of the year at that, like they throwing every distraction at us at the same time to keep us entertained. And I'm thinking like out of this 150, 170 people, it's going to be the rejects. It's going to be the poorest of the millionaire class that's going to get outed. And I'm also thinking like, okay, it's clearly going to be people who they're going to use as just dispensable people who to just throw away, at the end of the day. But I'm thinking like, what's likely going to happen and what's highly probable is that the 150 or so, and then here's just a little something here. I didn't even look at the names of it because I could care less. Because as always, there'll be no true justice. No one's going to be brought to jail. I mean, nothing's going to happen with this list. Come on now, people. These people, they're too deeply entrenched into the judicial system. They own the Supreme Court. Anyway, so here's a little bootleg list, and it's out there on Twitter. You can zoom in, but once again, who cares? It's everybody that you know. Hollywood is Hollywood actors, the biggest of the biggest. Wall Street bankers, the biggest of the biggest, and Washington, D.C. Hollywood, Wall Street, and D.C., the three criminal capitals of our country, where Satan is Satan's headquarters in all three of those places. So it doesn't matter. Point in case was, I was thinking, and I'll get to phone lines, I was thinking like the way things are heading right now, so we got Hunter Biden out right now getting a lot of, backlash and a lot of heat from the mainstream media sources saying he, committed perjury and he lied. Okay, sure, whatever. How convenient that his daddy's about to possibly go out or go in, or like Zelensky, they suspended the presidential election there just because you can't have an election in the midst of war. So the probability of us having a presidential election becomes that much. It becomes that much less likely that we'll have a presidential election. And on top of that, if we do have one, based upon what happened to the last one, we can't trust the outcome of it anyway. So it's anyway goes. Yeah. But my point about Biden Hunter. So he's out in the limelight now, getting a lot of heat. Sure. He gonna go before one of Obama's or Biden's judges. He gonna get 15 years. They're gonna throw 3 or 4 or 5 charges at him. Stick the book at him. 15 years, 20 years. They're not gonna go for the heavy stuff like the pedophilia, stuff like that, all that stuff that he has with his family, all this whatever. They going with this, tax evasion. You know what I'm saying? He hid $100,000 in his wallet, in his back drawer. Oh, okay, 15 years. They'll get that type of slap on the wrist. His daddy gonna pardon him, December 31st, December 30th, right before, December 24th, right before Christmas, 2024. So he'll be home with the family for Christmas. And then on this list of 150 people that are considered flunkies, people who are rejects, who just happen to be a part of Epstein's client list because they paid, a certain amount of dollars or whatever, or they're in an industry that, they just happen to be at the party at the right time, right place to participate in our sickness. Okay. But then again, that same 150 people, they're going to also have an opportunity to, funnel the big guy a couple of dollars. I'm going to pardon you on your way out too. So, you might have less of a career. We're going to out you. We're going to out you. You're going to have public ridicule. You're going to lose your career. You won't lose your money. We're going to hit you with some type of crime, give you 10, 15 years like I did my son Hunter. But then, for extra million, I'm going to go ahead and throw that pardon your way. You free, scot clear. The big guy gets paid, and then you get off and you're no longer on the list. You know what I'm saying? So that's how the criminals be operating these days, man. So it's like, can't people see this or what? Like, this is what's here. So anyway, I done said a lot. And there's always more to say. And so this is your time. I want to give you guys the microphone. Let me get this number up here, man. I done had more than enough fun tonight with this. So this is what's happening. The phone lines are open. Give me a call. Make it short, quick, to the point. I'm gonna try to. The goal is to get as many calls as I can. So I'm going to. Phone lines are open. Hopefully it works. It does. Should work. Give me a call. Let me know what's on your mind on any of the subjects. I covered 7, 8 subjects. Just scanning through it. And unfortunately, I'm making light of all this. But at this current moment, you got to either laugh or you're gonna die crying. Either one. Just because all of this stuff is happening to us in this country, and 99.99% of people would consider all this conspiracies, so they wouldn't even tune into this. And then if you was to present them with some factual evidence, they're so ingrained in stupidity in reference to how the system has conditioned them to think that, like, there's still a difference between the Republican, Democratic, left, right parties, and there's white hats in DC that's, still running the show, and any minute now they're gonna come in on a white horse and save us type of thing. There's still people who actually believe that, and I'm like, okay, cool. I want to ruin you to pray. If you live better being ignorant and not knowing, then sure, I'll let you stay where you at. But then again, for the people who are awake and aware, know that something doesn't smell right, something isn't right, and any minute now something is subject to change. This is all a part of the process to get us to where we have to go. That's why I'm so not necessarily down and out about it, because God is still in control. In the end, we're all going to, those that are in Christ wins. It's just going through this process will be tough and rough. But then again, a lot of it is, like your perception, your perspective on things. Like if it's the end of the world for you, then it probably will be. But if it's not, if it's an opportunity coming through all this, then more than likely you're gonna be able to see according to what your viewpoints are. And that's where I'm thinking, like, this is craziness. But then again, it should be, it shouldn't be all that bad. We'll see. But anyway, okay, people, phone lines are open. Give me a call or highlight something in the chat on any subject. What's your thoughts on the Trump being removed from the Colorado ballot? And California attempted to do it, but it looks like the Secretary of State, if I'm not mistaken, she's backtracking her thoughts, so she's not going to do it. But Maine, let me put this out here real quick. So Maine, let me see here where I got that most recent one. Looks like the state of Maine is trying to do some funny business. And so based upon the fact that, let me see here. So I'll show you this one. Based upon the fact, let me bring this up here. So based upon the fact that Colorado has already pulled some okey doke. And speaking of which, let me show you, copy. I'll show you the alleged 4 Supreme Court judges that signed off on Trump being removed from the ballot. Let me just get myself out of here. Let me get this over here. So this is, let me get this right. So these are the, let me see here. So we got this judge here, this judge here, this judge here. These are the 4 flunkies. I call them flunkies just because they don't love our country. They got an agenda. They obviously, were probably put in by the party that they pledged their allegiance to, which clearly we can see it's the left, for whatever that's worth. And so once again, we'll see, it might get overturned. But if you got Colorado now, and then let me see here, you got, so this is another one here. So this is from, let me move myself over here. I shouldn't have zoomed in so much. This is from Mario Nawfal, who's a pretty well-known journalist, I believe. Anyway, he says here, state by state update on efforts to remove Trump from the ballot. It says Colorado, the Colorado Supreme Court has ruled that Trump is ineligible for the state's primary ballot pending a potential U.S. Supreme Court review. Now it says Maine, decision expected by Friday for Maine. So Maine is on the books next. California says efforts are underway to disqualify Trump, with the lieutenant governor calling on the Secretary of State to explore options. Then we got New Hampshire says the state is considering the applicability of the 14th Amendment to Trump's candidacy. And then good old state of Michigan. Good old state of Michigan. A lawsuit seeks to bar Trump from the ballot over insurrection allegations, and the Michigan Supreme Court is reviewing an appeal on the matter. Additionally, Michigan may soon join other states in removing Trump from the ballot. Arizona, the Secretary of State has said he lacks the authority to disqualify Trump, but the issue remains open. New Mexico, similar efforts to disqualify Trump are also considered. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's 7 potential states that are trying their best to remove Trump. So it just, for your average person, it should make you wonder what in the world and why do they actually hate that man so much, and or just the Constitution in general, just the actual process of allowing candidates to plead their case, even though they're all selected, but still, like, at least go through the formalities of pretending like it's something that the people actually are able to vote. Because so obviously the ballots may not be their primary tool that they can use anymore. So now they're going to removing them from the ballot. And mind you, that's 7 states. If there's more coming, that means that's the ripe grounds for a civil war. You talk about the movie Civil War in the spring. I can see if he ain't on the ballot and the American people want him on the ballot, people ain't going to the ballot. They're going to go to the streets protesting. You're going to have stage 3-letter agencies acting like protesters, acting like they're MAGA supporters in the streets across the country. Stuff breaks out, and then voila. Anyway, I've been ranting too much. Hello, caller. Which name are you calling from? CB, doing good, my friend. Give me something quick if you don't mind. I got to, because I want to get more people in. But go ahead, give me something.
Nuggets, so you may want to give me a little bit extra. I'm glad you touched on that Houthi thing, man. And first of all, Trump didn't get convicted of anything, so they can't take him off the ballot for January 6th. He's never been convicted of anything.
Right. But they're gonna try.
He can go to Supreme Court.
Okay.
He can go to Supreme Court and overturn that. But with the Red Sea incidents, man, they just basically shut the U.S. oil down. U.S. is #1 in oil producer, and they was coming through the Red Sea in order to get some of that over to China and them.
Mm-hmm.
And now they just shut that down. So they letting everybody, part of the reason is Israel as well. Mm-hmm. But they let everybody go through there, but anybody that's associated with Israel or the United States. Don't ask me how they get the manifest to find out who owns these ships, because there's like 5 or 6 different names on every ship.
Yeah.
But they're shutting it down. And they're forcing people to go around, so that it's actually putting like a month more on the timeline that that people can get their shipment and their deliveries.
Yeah.
And this is still everyone who thinks that you and I are at each other's throat when I call in.
Mm-hmm.
I've got nothing but love for you, and I think that if you don't present an opposite side of the argument, then everyone just agrees with what Mike says without even looking at it. You could fall for anything if you don't look at both sides of the argument. So that's all I'm doing, is presenting my opinion to the other side of the argument.
That's good, man. Hey, I appreciate it as always, man. It's nothing but love here. Appreciate you, man. All right, be good. Yeah. Yeah, good stuff, man. Good stuff. Okay, so that's that's one of the exciting parts about having a chance to connect with people who are either like-minded or not. Like, I don't have to be right. I don't want to be right. I want to learn. So I need people to push me and challenge me. So TB, appreciate you as always, man. And that's why, like, everybody who's tuned in right now, we got 130 something plus. If you haven't, hit the thumbs up button. But then again, everybody on here has a unique perspective as well as expertise on something related to what we're talking about here. So your contribution is valuable. So feel free to call in, man, and let your voice be heard. Like, I'm sure you got some stuff you want to get off your chest. This is the time to let it happen. That's why, like, the whole idea, like, when I started, the talk show came about 5 years ago. I was just like, let me talk to people. Like, I want to get out and meet people, quote unquote, meet people, be a talk to people. So this was the whole part of, like, having the people's talk show, because I want to talk to people. So appreciate you, man. Yeah. What else? Okay, so as far as what TB said in reference to Trump is not guilty of nothing, so they can't remove him from the ballot. Sure. So they're trying the 14th Amendment crap, yada yada. I think Vivek did a good job explaining how that was meant for the whole North-South Confederate type of crap. Okay, sure. But here's the thing: the fact that they're digging deep to try to find anything lets me know that they're not done yet. And so the goal is to keep him tied up in court all across the country, trying to fight this to where, if it does if it gets shot down at the state level, they take it to the Supreme Court. Don't be surprised if the Supreme Court flips on them because they're trying to get rid of what's his name, Justice Roberts, not Roberts, but what's my man, the black guy, what's the judge? They're trying to get him off the court. So believe me, they're trying to swing things his way. So if it gets to the Supreme Court, believe me, they're going to definitely have some surprises there too. When a country's failing, don't expect nothing to make sense, nothing to look promising. Don't get your hopes up and none of this. Come on. Whew. Hello, Carlos. Where are you calling from?
Calling from California.
From California.
A couple days ago.
What's up, my friend? Give me something quick.
I got some. Go ahead, sir.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. It's your time. Go ahead. Give me something.
I was just going to say something about that Red Sea thing. If you look at a map where all these attacks are taking place, and you look over a little bit to the left, about 50 miles, there's this country called, Djibouti or something like that. I might have pronounced it improperly.
Djibouti.
There is 4 Western military bases there, including one United States base there, along with England and Japan. And it's less than like 50, 75 miles away from where all this stuff is happening. So I'm wondering to myself, do we have a third world country using little fishing boats that can outsmart 4 countries' military bases that are less than 50 miles away? Or is this allowed to happen?
Good point, man. So yeah, there's actually an article that popped up talking about Djibouti the other day, and I'm putting it on the screen right now. I didn't get a chance to read through it, but I remember one of the community members was either stationed in Djibouti or ex-military guy that worked there.
It's the largest military base in Africa for the United States.
Yeah, so I remember hearing stories about a lot of questionable activity out there a while ago. It's been years since I talked to him, but I didn't think about the military bases in Djibouti. So that right there will lead me to even be more suspicious as to how all this activity is able to, go down, and us having presence there supposedly to the magnitude you just described, and for it not to be squashed. So it lets me know that obviously it's strategically planned for disruptions in the supply chain and beyond whatever else, and they want this rather than it being a surprise to them, in my opinion.
It's all planned. It just seems like it's all planned. I mean, I can connect dots. I don't know if they're real to connect them, but from everything I'm seeing, I was in the 91 war over in Iraq. I know what we're capable of. Mm-hmm. So I don't know why we're allowing this to happen. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. Especially with logistically, everything we have is within 50, 75 miles there already. We don't have to ship anything over there for military or anything. We've already got it over there.
Yeah. So it lets me know that there's some higher ups that's either strategically, either telling people to, sit back, be on pause, let's let this unfold, or as TB mentioned before, like the whole oil situation, like, literally if the Middle Eastern nations have literally decided to pivot, and this is like, like that, this is that defining moment in the whole petrodollar system type of thing happening right now. We ain't seen it quite yet unfold, but if this has a lot to do with the whole petrodollar structure that's already eradicated, then,
that's kind of funny because we're building an oil pipeline through Burkina Faso as we speak. So why would we do that one there, but not another side of Africa when we're building an oil pipeline going through Burkina Faso, where they just had a coup a couple of months ago? We've already come to a deal with the two leaders in that country for the continuation of that oil pipeline that America's building. Yeah. So that's kind of counterintuitive to the point that you just made.
Yeah. But hey,
so it makes you think, what the hell is really going on? And now if you look at Afghanistan's building a river, and the Taliban's already stated by 2028, they're going to be wheat exporters to the world. So could that be part of this supply chain disruption to keep that going so they can start producing their own food and sell it to the world and be a world exporter for wheat?
Appreciate you, man.
Stated they want to be.
So it looks like they turned the poppy fields into wheat fields. But hey, let me get some more calls in. Thanks for calling in.
All right, bye-bye.
Yeah. Hello, Carlos. Where are you calling from? Hello?
Hello?
Hi there. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Oh, hey, Mike. It's Aaron from Delaware. How you doing?
Aaron from Delaware. I'm doing good, my friend. What's on your mind tonight?
Well, I was just thinking about, the whole situation with I was thinking with the two movies. You talked about them, the Netflix movie and the new Civil War movie that's coming up.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking and wondering, the scenario they presented in that it seems so realistic, and you know how popular Netflix is.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's out there seeing this, and they're like, what if that's getting people to think, well, something like this is very possible? Those three ways that the guy mentioned at the end about how, you basically bring down a country from within, and you cause chaos and everything.
Yeah.
Well, why would they even allow this to be, something that's put out there for everyone to see? This is the way I'm thinking. If they didn't really have something like that planned, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And
then the new movie coming up is going to be even worse as far as what's actually going to be possible.
So watch this. So the new movie plays on the leave it behind aspect because it goes more in depth as the like the left versus right turn on each other. And it's unfortunate they got Texas and California partnering up or whatever, but you got the actual division of U.S. citizens and them turning on each other to the point where it becomes like a tribal slash left versus right. Like you support the old regime and now the new regime is in control. That type of narrative. So it's even more divisive, and it's like it picks up in a sense on what could have been happening inside of New York from the Leave It Behind type of movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, who were they fighting inside New York is a question. Like, were there like foreign troops there, or was it like New Yorkers going on against each other, against the military, or what? So that was kind of like the mystery of the first movie and where the second movie plays right into it. So, yeah, interesting, man. But hey, appreciate your call, my friend. Thanks for giving me your call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Mike.
Be
Take
good.
care.
Hello, caller. Where are you calling from?
Yes, this is Mike calling from Arizona. How you doing, man?
Mike from Arizona. I'm doing good, my friend. Give me some good news out in Arizona.
All right, yeah, it's pretty cool out here. But I just wanted to run one thing around you.
Go ahead.
Have you ever heard of a thing called revelation of the method?
Revelation of the method?
Yes, it's basically where the elites give you a forewarning as to what's to come in the future. So if you know, there's a movie by it's Captain America and I believe it was Iron Man. It's called Civil War.
Yeah.
Basically, I want to get your thoughts about this. I think this whole Trump setup thing, it was a plan that was already written long ago. This is why I say that. In order to get a civil war, you have to get American people liking one particular person, which would be Trump. Okay, you cheat him out of the election, and then now you have all of these states coming together to ban him from the next election and everything. Mm-hmm. So that's going to cause the American people to get an uprising, and then that's when you have the civil war. Now, leading back to what I said, the revelation of the method. Then they drop another movie coming in the spring called Civil War. Mm-hmm. This is all a plan that I think that they're orchestrating by using American people emotion. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
I agree with that method. And so not knowing this called the Revelation method, first thing came to mind when you mentioned that was, Lindsey Williams, the pastor who passed away not long ago, who made his entire career being a chaplain for the elite, and all his tape series and stuff have him, basically saying that, they feel it, they have a conscience as well, and they have to give a warning just because they know not everybody's going to actually heed to it, but they got to at least show that they're human as well, that they don't want to be completely barbaric with their, so they do give signs and warnings. So I do believe that is possible. But then again, all this is taking place with our greatest enemy, who is, Satan in himself. So he's not an originator, he's a copycat. So there's nothing creative that he can really do. We know that stealing, killing, destruction is his primary objective. So anything that falls within that ball camp comes from him. It originates with him. So he can use any race, any color, any nation, any whatever at any time to accomplish his goal, because his time is limited. So none of this surprises me whatsoever. So I don't doubt that literally the best way to destroy a country, especially the head country, is from within. And then you factor in that foreign invasion, like the fact we have a countless amount. I would probably be willing to say that they, meaning our government agencies, is paying for all this destruction in our country. They don't even know the total number of people. They just literally buku debit cards and cell phones out there. Probably how they're tracking people, but they're really wanting to flood our country with terrorists in a sense and let us fight them amongst ourselves because we're not going to know who we fighting. Because if I look across the street and I see somebody who got my same skin tone, but he speaks a dialect and a language I don't know about, I still going to consider him an enemy, and I'm going to protect myself regardless if he was somebody who spoke English. It don't matter, because if he's not operating in my best interest, he's a threat. And so imagine all around you got that. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, go ahead.
No, I was just listening to you. Yeah.
Yeah. So no, I do believe in that. I don't not say that I do believe in that, but I believe that is clearly a part of the game plan, the sick and twisted plan they have going on, and that's just how things are, man. So at this moment, we saw this coming for quite some time. It's because this ain't the first time this happened. Like every great nation has usually failed from within, and it's usually caused by the government. After they run up the debt cycle, they have no other options. Then they need a scapegoat and an excuse, and then they turn to tactics such as this. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, man, appreciate you. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, one more thing.
Go ahead.
So you have the left wing, right, and then you have the right wing, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're both of the same bird. So I think a lot of people, this is just my opinion, I think a lot of people feel that Trump is not, he's going against the system, but I feel like the system is one. He's just playing his role in this movie that they're trying to put together. So I think he's playing like the martyr and everything, but he has everybody fooled. This is just my personal opinion. It's not a fact or anything. I just want to hear how you feel about that.
Once again, I remind people that at this current moment, there's not a savior that's coming in the flesh. So whether he comes at you with all these enticing and flattering words, believe me, if he has a platform like these people who are given a platform, Vivek, Trump, and DeSantis, Nikki, whatever, they got a history, they got a past, they got skeletons, and unfortunately that they didn't get to where they're at now on a clean cut and narrow way. Even I'm not saying that they're dirty, but then again, at some point you get to a certain level of status, you have to be compromised, because if not, you won't be able to play ball. Yeah. So I don't think Trump is, he's been presented as the best option we have, and he's built up a nice resume with his previous candidates, as previous candidate or president, to where he has enough people to believe in him because of what he's did disruption wise a little bit. But then again, that could have been a part of his act as well, because he is an actor. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, he could have did all that stuff to get you riled up. Oh yeah, he's America, make America great. He removed us from the climate accord. He told Europe to kiss our butt. Oh yeah, he's for us. Okay, but once again, I always remind people, if he's that much of a threat, how come he didn't get debanked like Kanye West? They try to cancel Kanye West over speaking about what he spoke about. Trump spoke similar language, not to the extent of who he was pinpointing, and he still has bank accounts all around the world. You know what I'm saying? So until they debank you, you still you still shaking hands and patting people on the back. You know what I'm saying? So Trump ain't got debanked. He ain't getting debanked. So I don't believe in one sec. That's just me.
All right. Yeah, good point, man.
Appreciate you, man. Thanks for calling in. And you know what? And I don't hate, but I just want, man, just shoot it straight, man. Shoot it straight. Like, I mean, you're going to ruffle feathers no matter what. If I say, oh, Trump is the best thing since sliced bread, people go, oh, love me. If you say Trump is a traitor, he's, really a, wolf in sheep's clothing, they're going to, some love it, some hate it. Just be real, man. Like, just recognize the signs of the times. Look where we at as a human species. You know what I'm saying? Like right now, like, we're facing evil in its greatest form that I think mankind has probably ever experienced, because they have media, they got science, they got tech, they got every aspect has been cornered by a very small few, and we're not in that club. And we know Satan's agenda: steal, kill, and destroy. So whatever comes our way, it's going to flow through those avenues somehow, some way, with the stuff that goes in your arm, these cell phone gadgets, whatever. Anyway. Hello, caller. Where are you calling from? Hello?
Hey, Mike, it's Ed. How you doing?
Hey, doing good, my friend. What's up with you?
Hey, the Bible says judge a tree by its fruit, correct?
Mm-hmm.
From Trump's presidency, did he have good fruit for Christian views, and did he do? I'm getting a lot of feedback.
Sorry.
Anyway, did he do a good job when he was in there, or do you think that whole thing was was fake, like you guys were just talking about.
Using that analogy you just used, I would say his fruit appeared to be more in favor of our country than any of his other constituents could have done. So based upon that, I would say he did more good than bad.
Okay. So, but you don't want the worst of the best of two evils, obviously, because you don't trust Trump and you don't think, you know, he can help the country or, you know, save us. And I don't think anybody's going to save us but Jesus.
Correct.
So I got one more question for you,
Yeah.
brother, and I love you.
Yeah.
Do you trust your pastor?
It depends on with what.
You might be listening now.
No, very true, very true. So okay, so trust is, you know, just break down trust. There are certain things what other word would I want to use?
You trust your pastor with your life or your children's life?
I would like to say yes, but because he's a man that's fallible just like me, you never know what could occur. So I would say that I can trust him with certain things more than I would others. I wouldn't want to be in a position to put my trust into a man of that magnitude, whether it's president, my pastor, or my brother, my blood brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, because everybody has that a breaking point or that moment to where, you know, it's just, I don't know. I wouldn't know. So I'll just say no.
Okay. I thought that I was going to find one human being that walked this earth that you trusted, but I didn't. I didn't find it.
But then again, so it goes down to trust with what? I know. I think we all can agree there's certain things that you can confide or trust, you know, a person with, and then there's others that you just probably wouldn't. Like I could probably, let me think of some examples. Let me think. Okay, so when it comes to money, for example, some people, I mean, like they always say that, you know, money and family don't go hand in hand. Like lending your money to your family, depending on what type of family you got, you know not to trust certain family members with money just because, like, it ain't in them to do what's right with it. So, like, I know that person over there, I won't lend them no money. I'll give it to them, but I know if I lend it, it's just basically saying I threw in the wind. So I know not to trust that person with that. And then over here, like, as far as watching my kids, I know if the guy got a record and he's rehabilitated, you know, did his time. I'm sure he found the Lord. He got out. He's a pastor, but he still went to jail for messing with little kids. Like, I'm not gonna trust that man to watch my kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't no fool. You know what I'm saying? Even God can do his heart right, but I'm like, come on now. Common sense says don't trust a man that you know had problems in our department. Anyway, go ahead.
Let me back it up. Just a little bit. Is there anyone you know or anyone on the face of the earth that you trust their heart, that in every situation they're put in, that you know they would do what they think is the right thing to do?
Yes, I do. I have a couple gentlemen that, like, I would consider brothers, but yet they're like long time 20, 30-year type friends, teammates, guys I went to war with, figuratively speaking, that they know the Lord and I know them, and they know I got their back and I know they got mine. And I believe that, you know, I would be willing to put something on the line with those relationships. Yes.
Okay, good, man. I didn't think I could do it. I'm glad you can trust
But I do have some brothers that I, you know, and the bond came from a childhood to now. And we played ball together. We traveled the world together. Our families are. I mean, just I know they know. One of them was crucial in my spiritual development. So those are the guys I know that, you know, I can trust them. But I know he's fallible. I know things possible. But I would lay it on the line and say, hey man, if you stab me in the back, dog, I love you anyway. I just you know what I'm saying, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are people like that. Yes.
Well, I've never met you. I've never shook your hand, but I've talked to you enough and listened to you enough that I would trust you to do the right thing in any situation. And there's people in my life that are like that, and we need those kind of people.
100%, man. I appreciate that, man. I thank you for that, and I pray to God that I'm able to live up to, you know, the expectations of the viewers as well as my family and friends, because, you know, I try to be as genuine as I can be. So that's the best I can do. I'll give it the rest of the Lord. So I appreciate you, man. Thank you for that level of confidence and support. Appreciate you, man.
All right, thanks.
Be good.
Bye.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, that seems like a lot. So yeah, it's just, and I appreciate that, man. That makes me feel, you know, like, like some of the fruit or some of the talk, the walk, it lines up with the fruit that I want to bear in life, based upon my faith. So I appreciate that, man. All right, people, we're over an hour. I can go forever, but I'm not. A lot of interaction tonight, a lot of great calls. Appreciate you guys for blessing me with your presence as always. If you haven't, you see that they're right there. Hit like and share, and add more to the community. That's the goal, man. Bring in more people who may lack critical thinking and give them something to think about. Let them make decisions for themselves. But other than that, man, at the end of the day, it all goes back to your spiritual life. Being rooted and grounded in the rock, Jesus Christ. You know what I'm saying? Like that is the foundation for my faith, and hopefully yours as well. And we know that there's a chain of events that has to occur to get us to the establishment of the ultimate form of governance, which is the kingdom of God on this very sphere that we're walking on now. It's coming. Yeah, it's coming. So we got to go through a process to get there. It won't be pretty for some, but then again, if your faith is in the right place, God is still doing an awesome work. And let's believe him for that in 2024. All right, my good people. Be blessed, be safe, and I will catch you. I don't know. I'll catch you sometime. Anyway, be blessed.